Hi, everybody, and welcome to What's So Great About Grimsby. I'm Kyle Dorff from St. John's Presbyterian Church here in Grimsby. So glad that you have joined us today for a really important discussion with a really special guest today. Before we begin our conversation, a couple things that you can do. One, to be helpful to our guests and what McNally House is doing. You can share this conversation on your social media or via email. Share this conversation with a friend. Or the other thing that you can do to help us out is if you want to be notified of further conversations that we're having on What's So Great About Grimsby, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can do that by clicking the subscribe button, and then the notification bell icon will let you know when new videos are posted. So today, I'm really excited to be joined today from McNally House Hospice here in Grimsby. Joining us is Pamela Blackwood. Hi, how are you doing today?
Hi, Kyle. It's so good to speak with you today.
You too. Yes, it's been a while, I think, but I'm so glad that we can gather in this way. So you're visiting us today from McNally House, and now are you actually at McNally House right now?
I am. I'm in my office.
Very good. Well, I'm sort of in my office too. And, well, my living room is my office, working from home, but you know, that's the way we go. So that's okay. Well. Listen, you've got a really exciting event coming up throughout the month of October. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Sure. So this is our annual Hike for Hospice in support of McNally House. So usually every year this Hike for Hospice goes off the first Sunday in May. And of course, with the pandemic and things shutting down, we chose to delay it until October. And we did have it scheduled to be in person on October 4th, and a couple of weeks ago when things were closed down again, we've pivoted to a complete virtual Hike for Hospice in support of McNally. This is one of our premier fundraisers every year, so it's a really important fundraiser that we have. This goes directly to supporting the operations of McNally House. So all funds raised go directly to the hospice. We have to fundraise about $800,000 a year. We're funded through the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care for a portion of our nursing costs, so about 63% of our nursing costs, and then everything else, so the rest of the nursing costs, and then all the other operations of the house, including the food that we purchase, the heat, the hydro, everything else has to be fundraised. So Hike for Hospice is one of our premier events that we rely on every year.
Well, that's a very wonderful thing that you're doing now. Is there a specific place that people are to hike, or how can they get involved with this if we're doing it virtually?
Yeah, so traditionally we would have met in Coronation Park this Sunday, and people would sign up and they would do a hike, a 5-kilometer hike around the downtown area of Grimsby. But now that we're going virtual, people can hike, they can run, they can swim, they can do whatever they'd like in order to get their 5 kilometers in, but they can do it anywhere in the community here, anywhere in West Niagara, or if they're in Timbuktu, they could support McNally House and hike there. So I know I'm going to be doing my hike probably next week on a good day, and I'll be just hiking in the neighborhood around McNally House. That's where I've decided to go. So people can easily sign up. They can go to our website, McNallyHouseHospice.com, and it will take you to a page where you can register yourself. You can form a team if you wish to and have a group of people fundraise. And then you can use the social media to fundraise as well. So having a link that can go onto your Facebook page, or you can send out into an email with friends and family asking for support, and they can simply go online and support you through donations. And there's a way of tracking. So everybody that's hiking, we can see how much they're fundraising. And there's some nice friendly rivalries going on as well with people fundraising. I know we here at McNally House, our team of nurses have created a team, and our administrative team have created a team, and we're vying for who's going to be the best at McNally House and who can raise the most by the end of October. So we're having lots of fun with that.
Well, that's great. And so if you're watching this right now, all of those links will be in the video description. So the link to the McNally House website, as well as the direct link as to how to register. If you would like to be a hiker or a biker or a participant anyway, there's a direct link there for you to sign up, and that'll be in our video description. Also, if you're watching this right now, and maybe you think 5K is a little far, or you're not too sure, physically this is something you want to do, but you want to give your support, you can support me. You can sponsor me and my family. We're going to be taking part in the hike, and that link is also in the video description. So this is all for a really wonderful cause and a wonderful service to our community. And so there's so many ways that you can get involved. You can get involved by participating and walking the community, or even just sitting on your couch right now. A couple clicks of your mouse, a couple swipes with your finger on your device, and you're helping out, and you're making a really positive difference in our community. So Pamela, I'm wondering, I'm sure some people are really familiar with what McNally House does, and there's been a couple times I've really been honored to come in and journey alongside some folks that have stayed at McNally House. But what are the types of things that McNally House has been up to lately?
So of course, with the COVID break shutdown, things have changed a wee bit here at McNally House. But just for people that don't know who we are, we're a 6-bed residential hospice serving the communities of West Niagara. We have had the honor in the 12 years that we've been open to care for nearly 1,100 of our community members in West Niagara. And we provide end-of-life care for those who primarily are in their last few months of life. We provide a home-like setting where our nurses and our volunteers and staff can provide the supports not only to the resident themselves, but to their families through a very difficult time. Most people, if you ask them in Canada, most people would say, about 80% of the people would say that they would prefer to die at home. But in reality, only about 6% of Canadians have that opportunity because of the lack of supports or lack of family around. So we are kind of that step that nobody really wants to die in hospital, would like to die at home. So we provide that home-like setting and provide those supports 24/7, 365 days a year. So during COVID, it's been difficult. We had to dismiss or let go our 150 volunteers back in March when lockdown happened. And so our staff had to kind of pivot and take on some new roles. We had administrative staff cooking and supporting our residents. And certainly it was difficult in limiting the number of people that came into the house to visit their loved ones. And that was difficult because that goes against kind of the philosophy of care. We want the families to surround those at end of life. But this last little while has been different. We're preparing for the next of what's happening with the pandemic and looking at what we did in the beginning, what would we do differently, how did our staff feel about what happened in those first few months, and what can we change differently. It certainly hasn't changed the number of people we care for. Like I said, we've had about 1,100 people in the last 12 years, and we haven't had a bed empty throughout COVID, and we've been very fortunate that we've been able to be safe within the walls here at McNally.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And on your website, if you click over to that website after you're done listening to our conversation, there's there's some really just powerful stories of how McNally House, either the volunteers have really come alongside the families, or they've kind of called on sort of the greater community of Grimsby. Maybe there's some special circumstances that that people that are staying there, maybe there's a way that you want to bless them, or to again, try and make their experience there as homey as possible. Would you be able to share maybe a story or two with us about just some of the really powerful experiences that McNally House has either created or helped to facilitate for people that have stayed there?
Sure. Our philosophy is everybody lives until the day they die. So people aren't coming here to die. They're coming here to live until that last day. So we want to make the days that they have very special and meaningful to them. So we spend a lot of time kind of trying to figure out what are those things that would be special or meaningful to a resident here. So it could be something as simple as having anniversary dinner, having a party for loved ones. We've had some really interesting things over the years. We had a wedding here one year. One of our residents who was fairly poorly at the time proposed to his girlfriend here in his bed, and by the next day we had our incredible community come together, and we had a wedding in our living room here with flowers donated by the watering can, with photography done by a local photographer, with our volunteers coming in and preparing the most incredible food and having champagne and, having an incredible special moment. And those are the things that bring us joy in the work that we're doing. We had someone said, I want to see everybody before I die. I want to have a wake and I want to be there for it. So we had a resident that, we had tents set up outside. His friends came, his family came, and he was able to enjoy those moments with them, to say goodbye, but to also celebrate his life and be part of that celebration. So it was really incredible. And then we have moments like, Kyle, you were able to witness, that was just brought goosebumps to me as one of your church members was a choir member.
Yes.
And music was a very big part of her life. And your church and choir members came, and it was the most incredible, meaningful time with her that you sang together. You sang the old hymns that she loved. And gosh, that whole room was just full of love and support of that church member, and it was so special. And so those are the things that we look for all the time, whether or not it is a special meal. We have a resident right now, and he loves a barbecue. So we had a barbecue last week. We, got out the hamburgers and hot dogs, and he was thrilled to be able to do that. And then we more normalize things of having times when the celebrations for, we're getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner, that we'll have Thanksgiving cooked, or we'll have Christmas dinner, or all those different celebrations. We had a resident last year that loved the casino and could no longer go to the casino. So we had some of our staff and volunteers created a casino in our living room and had roulettes and everything else. It was crazy, but those are the things that bring us joy and bring the families joy. We're here to create those memories for families. So when their loved one is gone, it isn't those difficult memories of someone dying in hospital or, being at home without supports, but to have a positive outlook on that this was the best we could do as a community to support somebody at end of life, and that everyone has come together, whether or not it's our volunteers, who I must say are now coming back and support and back into the kitchen and screening at our front door and everything, and we're thrilled to see them. But this is what our community in West Niagara and Grimsby has made a priority, is that everyone should die with dignity and with supports and with their loved ones around them. And we've made that priority in West Niagara through the supports of things like Hike for Hospice or our immemorial donations or even bequests, that it's a real resounding voice in our community saying, we deserve this for West Niagara. We deserve to care for our loved ones at end of life in the best way that we know possible.
Yeah, and that's so true. And really you frame it just so beautifully, and that McNally House is a place where loved ones go to live, and to make that as normal as possible. And I remember that time that we were gathered with our friend who was in bed and able to sing to her, and just the love that was there. Certainly incredibly meaningful for her, but I know for those of us that were there, that's something we will always remember. Like, I think as a group, but also as individuals. And I was also really blessed and honored to sort of journey with the family sort of after you had the wedding, after their loved one did pass away. That time was so incredibly meaningful for them, and just in hearing about how McNally House rallied really the community around them to kind of live out that dream of being married, was just so touching for them. So it's really a two-way street. Number one, it's to honor and to normalize the experience for the I guess the guests or the patients that live there, but also for the loved ones that are there. And those memories, as you say, are just so incredible, that their last memories of their loved one are of living together, and not something just so hard and heavy and dark. So we're really excited throughout the month of October for the Hike for Hospice. Again, please click the links in the video description to either register, to sign up, to learn more, or to donate and support people here in Grimsby and around the world, really, if they want to hike for McNally House. Now, you were mentioning as well that certainly with COVID, a lot of restrictions and things have come on to you folks with the volunteers. Beyond financial support, are there other ways that our community can provide support to you through this pandemic time?
Well, it was certainly incredible in the spring when we did go into lockdown, and how our community came and supported us. In those difficult weeks, in the first few weeks when we didn't have our supplies, we didn't have the PPE, and we weren't getting the government support of providing those supplies, our community came together and sewed masks for us, sewed gowns for us, dropped off, we put a call out on our social media, we needed shields, eye protection, and oh my gosh, the most beautiful touching moment was when a little boy came to the door. We had a box out front because people, of course, couldn't come into McNally. He dropped off his swimming goggles to us, so this could be safe in caring for our residents. It was just incredible, and all those things are still ongoing. We were very grateful. I think it's 180 some odd gowns that were made for us. But the reality is that COVID isn't going away anytime soon, and we're still going through all those gowns and masks on a daily basis. They're being worn, they're being washed and being used again the next day. So in the coming months, right now we're doing okay, but in the coming months, if people can still think of us in that way, we will still need masks, and we still will need gowns for a long time to come. So those are the kind of things that can support us. Certainly, we were so grateful with different organizations that just dropped off groceries to us. One church dropped off an incredible amount of baking supplies. We can't, with COVID, we usually are able to accept baked goods from people in the community, so we can support our residents and their loved ones with a cup of coffee and something sweet to eat, and that hasn't been possible. But to work around it, having our community drop those kind of things off, groceries, coffee, anything like that, that's of a great support to us as well.
Well, that's really wonderful. So again, if others want to make contributions of gifts in kind, or just see what else they can do that's helpful, I will again. You'll see the website in the video description, and you'll see the information on the screen as well as to how you can reach out and in contact with McNally House, just to say, hey, we're neighbors. We're here in Grimsby. We really support what you're doing, and want to help you out. So again, just reach out to McNally House. They do incredible work and service in our community. Well, I want to thank you so much, Pamela, for making the time to come and join us today, and all the best with the Hike for Hospice.
Thank you, Carl. I just want to say a couple of things just as we're closing. So I really did want to recognize Debbie Costa, Shoppers Drug Mart Grimsby, who is our title sponsor for Hike for Hospice and has been for, gosh, I've lost track of how many years that she has been our sponsor for it. And as well as Zoe Uzas from Remax Garden City, I wanted to recognize her as well. If anybody is in Coronation Park in the next week, you will see the signs of all the sponsors that have supported the hike. Zoe Uzas always goes out and challenges other realtors to support us and sponsor a block of the hike that usually people would be walking along. So I encourage you to go down to the park and have a look and support those who are supporting McNally House. And we're about, I would say, 30 some odd % to our goal of $65,000 this year for Hike for Hospice. And I hope, Kyle, by the end of October, I can touch base with you again and we can celebrate that we reached that goal.
I look forward to connecting with you again. And I'm not just hoping this happen. I'm just anticipating, because Grimsby is just such an incredible community with people that are just filled with compassion for others, and as you said, McNally House is a place and an organization that really affirms living life to its fullest as best as people are able, and just the compassion that neighbors here in Grimsby show for those in need, those going through difficult times, is just incredible. And it's really that compassion, that understanding, and that willingness to get involved. That's what's so great about Grimsby. So thanks so much for joining us today. Pamela Blackwood is joining us from McNally House. Please, again, sign up for the Hike for Hospice, or make a donation. Share this conversation with somebody that would be interested in that. Please subscribe to this channel for other important conversations in Grimsby that really matter. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kyle Dorr from St. John's Church here in Grimsby, and this has been What's So Great About Grimsby. We'll see you next time.